Hello everyone, it's Bernard here and this is my iPhone 12 mini battery drain test. I did it because battery life was one of my biggest concerns regarding iPhone 12 mini. As you can see, I put it against my own iPhone 11 and the test already started. In the top left corner you can see the time, and next to the phones you will see battery percentage left, updated every few seconds. The apps being tested are based on my personal screen on time usage, though I replaced some low power apps like Messages and Safari with extra games to do a worst case scenario. From technical aspects, both phones are connected to the same Wi-Fi network and have their screens set to maximum brightness, which should be about 625 nits, although iPhone 12 mini seems to have a brighter screen, which may be due to the fact it can actually go up to 1200 nits, and both phones are under very bright light. You can actually see the reflection. With brighter screen, higher resolution and much smaller battery, 2200 compared to 3100, iPhone 12 mini was the obvious underdog here. Although, to be 100% transparent, this is my personal iPhone 11, which means it doesn't have factory fresh battery like iPhone 12 mini does. I was using it for past few months and the current capacity is about 90% of initial value. I decided to go with it anyway because it still has massively bigger battery and lower resolution screen and still lets me go for a full day of regular use. I assume that if 12 mini will end up with similar results, it will be enough for me, but as you can see, the 12 mini already pulls ahead. Now, we already tested YouTube. And by the way, I set all the videos to 4K because while the screen doesn't support such resolution, the videos are still crispier than in 1080p thanks to the compression, and it also puts extra strain on the processor. We also tested Among Us because, well, it's a great game, and while it's an indie production, it still looks cool, especially on 12 mini thanks to that OLED blacks. We can also see in the game that iPhone 12 mini has higher highlights and deeper blacks, which again, it's due to the OLED screen and it's just great. We can also see how iPhone 12 mini increased its advantage in battery percentage. It's actually quite amazing because it went from 15% to almost 20% of advantage. I did also a 4K HDR video export in iMovie to test some of the most intense tasks, and no surprise, both iPhones did better than my 13-inch MacBook Pro. Then onto some Instagram browsing to let the phones catch their breaths. We can also see the size difference in Instagram posts and tiles, and it honestly is a personal choice now. Do you want a bigger image or higher contrasty one? And on Instagram with its compression, it isn't that obvious. Now, because the battery was still strong on the iPhone 12 mini, I decided to throw in the Temple Run too, because it can actually run the tutorial on the loop, and this allowed us to go to the McDonald's for a coffee break. And by the way, a like and a sub would really be a great way to appreciate all our hard work, so subscribe maybe. Anyway, back to the test, we can see a great supremacy of 12 mini. The degradation of the 11 couldn't be the reason here, over 40% more battery. Now, I think that's because of the A14 Bionic. The low power cores may be so powerful that it doesn't have to use the high performance one that often, which explains superiority over 11 in high demand tasks. But even alone, iPhone 12 mini just pulled hours of screen on time on its own, and it's mind-blowing. After Temple Run, we went onto one of my most important apps, the camera app, which was actually demanding for both phones. The camera app we set on the night mode, and actually during this test the iPhone 11 asked to turn on the low power mode already, which obviously I didn't because I wanted to test the actual battery use all the way down, so no low power mode. Then again, something lightweight. In this case we went with music karaoke with Apple Music lyrics. Some fun with Red Hot Chili Peppers. The iPhone 11 already was below 10%. But because it still wasn't that, we went with Google Maps, which I use quite often while driving, and it was always a heavy drain of my iPhone 11's battery. And as expected, with only 3% left and GPS turned on with bright screen, the iPhone 11 didn't hold much longer from then. But even though iPhone 11 is dead, it had almost 5 hours of screen on time. It's still a respectable amount after what we put it through. And we agreed before the test that 5 hours of battery will be more than enough. But what we see here, especially after all the reviewers bashing the battery, it's amazing. Still, while I wouldn't recommend the Mini based on the battery alone, because 12 and 12 Pro Max have even more juice, this shouldn't be a deterrent if you want a smaller phone. The 12 Mini is going so well that we just decided to throw everything at it again. Even more 3D gaming, 4K YouTube watching, exporting 4K videos in iMovie and recording 4K in Camera App. If we did a more balanced test here, we probably could go past, we could probably have even better results of the battery test, but honestly after so many hours on it, we just wanted the phone dead, which shows how good the battery life is. We did all this with maximum brightness, GPS in the background, and with really a lot of graphical intense tasks, which means in real life it should have even better battery life. I am really impressed, and you can actually show this video to anyone considering Mini and being worried about the battery life. If the Mini isn't your only computer for work / school / entertainment, go for it, you will love it. With almost 8 hours, it's actually best iPhone battery I personally used, beating obviously my iPhone 11, iPhone 10, iPhone 7 and earlier. If you liked it, give this video a like, share and subscribe for the full review of iPhone 12 mini. Thanks guys for watching and see you in the next one.